Anyway, this poem got published, I think, first in the Writers' Center Carousel, and then another place requested it, and then another place requested it. It's had about 9 publications. I didn't have to send it around. It's called How Poetry is Done. As I say, it's sort of a farewell to the 20th century, but some of it leaks over to the 21st. You can make any sentence poetical by mentioning blood or bone. For example, instead of yesterday I went to the store, say yesterday I went to the blood and bone store. Instead of the moon rose, say the blood moon rose, or a bone of moon rose, or best, a bone of blood moon rose. For I love you, try bone and blood, I love you. Bone and blood are instant intense. For profound, add in an inapplicable abstraction such as geometry or calculus, or a scientific reference like hologram or ecology, and throw in a juicy verb. For example, the geometry of blood laments this hologram of bone. But intense and profound are not enough. You need an ironic, hip sense of mortality, as in chanting its inevitable theorems in every fatty cell, the geometry of blood laments this fading hologram of bone. Except that theorems makes too much sense with geometry, so change theorems to charade, not sing-song, which makes too much sense with chanting. Dissociation of these. This gives us a satisfactory 20th century poem written in a fresh, unique, authoritative, etc. voice, especially if the line lengths are a bit weird. For example, chanting its inevitable charade in every fatty cell, the geometry of blood laments this fading hologram of bone. Entitle it Collage Number 7 and send it right out to a very little magazine or anything that ends in review. That's just
I wrote that poem.
Yeah, what?
No.
Hold on. This is another old one. Not as, doesn't go back quite as far. That poem was a lesson to me too, because it started as a fairly short poem on the blood and bone thing, and it was in a notebook. I thought, well, that's not going to go anywhere. Pam looked at it and said, this is funny, so I extended it a little, as I say.
It's the Borscht Belt.
Yeah. This one's called Why We're Here. We were designed by the wind, frustrated with its inability to inflate a balloon. We were created by the sun when he discovered that alone he could light up only one side of the earth at a time. We were created by the rain, which could not spell its name in the sand. The earth made us in hopes we would enable it to see where it's going. We were made by the ocean to package its salty elixir and distribute it to high ground beyond the reach of surf. We were made by mountains grown tired of crushing everything they tried to embrace. We were made by the full moon, because though it could reflect endlessly, it could not smile. We were made by the trees, because they couldn't hear themselves fall. We were made by the grass, to graze with our eyes and gobble up the excess green. We were made by the cockroaches, because their faith forbids suicide. We were invented by dogs, because after aeons of licking only each other, they yearned for love without hairballs. We evolved from birds who wanted to be able to talk with their hands without being carried away. We were invented by cats to tend doorknobs. We were invented by stones who wanted to reproduce themselves but could not set one stone upon another. We were invented by the night, grown tired of having nothing to hide. We were invented by the flowers, sick and tired of colorblind bees who only wanted them for one